Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give you a heads up that this discussion contains sensitive topics, including drug use, suicidal ideation, and some explicit language. Listeners' discretion is advised. If these subjects are triggering or distressing, please consider whether you're in the right space to listen. Take care of yourself and feel free to skip this episode if needed.
Your seat's taller.
You want to switch spots? I look like a monster. I'm already so much bigger than you.
Okay, let's switch real fast and see if it looks a little bit better.
Nice. This is an upgrade. Hey, wait, I want to put the phone books back in here so I don't forget. It's weird, no Bible, 2 phone books.
Okay, that looks a little bit more even.
I'm not like a religious fellow that this room seems like it needs more Bibles. I can tuck my leg back here too.
We're just gonna get centered because it makes it easier.
See, now you're like the same height as me, and I don't like that shit because that's
now I'm a little bit taller. Do you want to switch?
No.
Because you look.
This is good. I feel like I'm humbled right now.
Maybe that seat can like go up as much as
No.
Okay. All right. We've been
This is the best chair in the joint.
So. Welcome back to another episode of Addicted to Quitting, where we are focusing on quitting the habits that no longer serve us so we can elevate our health, our happiness, and our habits and routines and structures. And you guys might notice if you're watching this on YouTube that we have a different backdrop. I am not in my basement.
Yeah, this is Studio B.
And I also have a guest with me.
Yeah, Studio D.
So today I'm going to be interviewing Sam Miller. And I'm super excited to have a conversation with him about addiction and recovery, but also, like, everything. Like, I just want to get into it. So, why don't you share a little bit about yourself?
My name's Sam Miller. I'm a comedian from Olympia, Washington. I've been clean and sober for 16 years. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. It's been my full-time job for 3 years. I got 2 kids. I'm married. And sometimes I don't pick the best hotel rooms. But there is a lake out here. There's a lake. You can't see it, but it's there. Oh man, a guy just walked by when I opened it.
All right, we need a social so we can tag him that he was in our video. Let's like kind of share the story on how we got here, because my mom, when she listens to this later, because I have my mom and like my grandma that listen to my podcast. That's about it. But they're gonna be like, you just drove to Ellensburg and met a guy, and you're in a motel right now.
Econo Lodge, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no hijinks. Gentry came to my show,
which was amazing.
Yeah, we did a comedy show at Ellensburg here. I was in Bozeman last night. I'm on a comedy tour, and we've been following each other on Instagram for a while, and in a weird way, like we have, like if we made like a Venn diagram, I guess we got our circles, like there's intersections, but I am in the stand-up comedy world. You are in like a motivational speaking world, and there's definitely a lot of overlaps. I'm actually really interested. Like we were talking before the podcast, and I'm interested in exploring that stuff too. I bet we can both learn from each other. Yeah. So. Yeah,
well, and I think I found you because I follow a lot of comedians, and then I love when they talk about sobriety in their because I feel like there's such like an overlap in mental health and being funny. Like how many people are actually hilarious that are struggling with mental health, because it's like an outlet.
See, I don't know. It's a weird. Oh my god! I just realized that headboard has this terrible scratch. I don't know what people were doing in here. We are in an econo lab. But about mental health and addiction and comedy, it is an industry that attracts people that want attention. Wanting attention can fill the same hole that drugs and alcohol fill. And luckily that meditation therapy and like community support can fill. But yeah, there is a strange intersection between that, and I could talk about it for hours, or I could not tell you probably the same deal. It's just like anything. We're dealing with power, we're dealing with fame, we're dealing with money, we're dealing with laughter, and It's messy. It's messy and it's gross, but it's beautiful too. It's amazing too.
Yeah.
Like I have amazing interactions, but I have some hard ones too, you know, especially at this point in my career,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, like, do you feel like sometimes you've traded addictions, like, by finding...
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think sometimes it makes people uncomfortable because they don't want to hear me say things like that. Much like me and you have these circles that interact. So my addiction to methamphetamines, alcohol, also there are a lot of similarities. Like as we're speaking right now, my dopamine levels are kind of leveling out. In fact, they're getting a little pick-me-up because even though we were having a conversation, I'm performing a little bit. I'm trying to turn it on a little bit.
Yeah.
But also when I get off stage, my adrenaline goes down. Like I have adrenaline when I'm on stage that helps me think fast and be smart. And then that goes away. So then I'm stupid again.
Okay, so but I feel like this is like... I feel like it gets like a bad rap because I feel like I have the same thing like with content. Like I create content and it's something I really poured into after I got sober.
Yeah.
And it was like a dopamine rush and I was like, is that bad? Like are we not supposed to chase dopamine anymore, or are we just not supposed to chase it with drugs and alcohol anymore?
What's bad, I think, are the decisions that we can make when we stop getting it. So like my issue with comedy isn't so much how I feel right now when I have that post-show high. My issue is when I get back home and my kids are like, I need cereal. And I'm like, do you know who I am? Like, I was just in Ellensburg. I was in an Econo Lodge last night. Like,
I gotta upgrade.
I have had, like, the highs, like, oh my God, like I headlined at the Laugh Factory in Chicago, and it was like this huge opportunity and like high stakes, like a tryout basically. And this is before I headlined. This is how I got to be a headliner there. And there's 300 people there. It's packed, Chicago. And the Laugh Factory is actually a converted theater that they turned into a comedy club, like the Mothership in Austin, sort of. And there is a 10-foot walk to that microphone. And as I'm walking up there, like I look at that crowd and I had listened to the other comedians and like, I'm good at this shit. And like, I knew it. I was like that feeling of like that confidence, even before I told a joke, and I did my opener and it hit. And then I was like, and depending on how my opening joke goes, decides like what kind of set I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And my opener hit the way I wanted it to hit. And then I went with these jail jokes. And like that shit crushed. And then from there, I'm like, once I got them and I have that connection with that audience, then I get to relax. And then it's all that's left is just dopamine, adrenaline, and me. And yeah. But then I got to fly back. And then I have shows where like I'll be in Atlanta. I told you about that, I think. There was, did you know about this?
No.
So about 3 weeks ago, I did a show at the Atlanta Punchline, a great club, right? I did my best, but something happened with the algorithm. There was 6 pre-sales. That theater it's a comedy club that holds like 250. There was 6 pre-sales. I was like, if one person on every continent bought a ticket, I would have had one more pre-sale. We wound up with like 11 people there, but I did my best for those 11 people. So that's the move. And like, how do I deal with that? And I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful support system. I have a therapist. And I take my recovery really seriously. And it doesn't make me want to get high. I do get sad. I can get really sad sometimes, but it's never to a point like I haven't had any ideation. Like, I mean, I still have some ideation here and there, like a lot of people do. Nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
But it's never anything past like a little bit of ideation.
I feel like I still have that too. And I mean, you're farther along in your recovery than I am, but I had like moments when like I want to check out. But then I think about the next, like, of the options that I used to, and I'm like, oh, God, none of those sound like they'd be.
You know, and this is the thing, too, that should be talked about. So when I was 4 months sober and when I was 11 months sober, like, I had more than ideation. Like, I never had a plan, but I had, like, thoughts of killing myself. Because I was like, how am I sober? And I'm like, I'm working a recovery, I'm doing my best, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I still feel so bad. And I was, like, so embarrassed. I was like, all these other people in recovery, they seem like they're doing well. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, maybe it's like, this isn't enough, you know? And I was so ashamed. And that shit'll kill you. That shame kills people. So, and I talked about it with a bunch of people in recovery one night. I went to a thing and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you know what's crazy is I shared and I started crying, because I was like embarrassed. And then after the meeting or whatever, like people came up to me and they were like, by the way, I am engaged. Like I could say this, like I'm engaged in a 12-step program or whatever. I'm not going to get into specifics or whatever, but like, I don't think it works for everybody, but it works really well for me. And anyway, people came up to me after and they're like, dude, I'm so glad you said that. Cause I feel like I can talk about it now too. And like, that's the shit. And
and
it got
you
better.
get like a high from that too. I feel like that's like a dope. Like when I share on my social and I have people reach out to me to be like, "Thank you for owning that." Like we see you dancing around and having fun, and then we see in your stories or sharing a story about how like you don't want to get out of bed today. It's like,
hard.
Thank you.
You got 7-year-old twins, man. Your life's so hard. That's like one kid, but two.
Yeah.
Nothing gets past me.
It's like the synergy of them too.
Sorry,
it's
the adrenaline wore off. I gotta be like, this is what happens.
I'll send the twins with you and you can get some adrenaline boost.
Our old behaviors.
Okay, so can you share what kind of brought you? I don't want to like get super heavy and dark because you are funny. But what brought you to?
I should stop swearing.
It's okay. I'm gonna put a disclaimer on this because
you can blank it out.
What brought you to recovery? Kind of lead us to that.
Yeah, that's fine. I talk about this a lot. So like I was working for the Forest Service. I was a wildland firefighter. I was homeless in Olympia. I went to a job corps center, which is where you go if you're homeless in Olympia and your mom's tired of you. I learned how to fight fire. I was fighting fire. I did that for like 3 years. It was the end of a fire season, and they were like, after the fire season, they were like, we don't want you back. So that was in, let me see, that was like the fall of 07, because it starts raining, all the fires go out. So that was the fall of 07. And I got sober in June of 2008. So when I found out I'm getting fired from the Forest Service, I just stayed in Tonasket. I went from being like homeless in Olympia to homeless in Tonasket, Washington. And I found a depth of like sadness and just my addiction like spiraled. I started I had always like used methamphetamines off and on, but like really had a habit at that point. And I stopped getting locked up. I figured out how to like not get locked up so much anymore, which was nice. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to die every day. That was it. And there was terrible things that happened to me. I did some things that I'm very not proud of, but I was much more a victim than a perpetrator of some stuff that happened. Well, no, I can't really say that. I think it's just kind of, if you're in a storm, like, and you get hit with lightning, that's just kind of what it is. Like, it's a storm. But yeah, I went back to Olympia. I was like, I'm going to get sober. But I went back to Olympia and I just fell into old behaviors and I kept using. That was probably like 2 weeks before June 10th, 2008. June 9th, 2008, I was like, I'm going to go smoke a little bit of weed. And I'm just not a little bit of weed kind of guy. And I wound up waking up in front of the Capitol Theater in downtown Olympia. And I was under a tarp. I was with a lady. We were doing tarp stuff. Here's another disclaimer. Warning, tarp stuff.
Tarp.
Yeah.
I'm like fascinated by the fact that you were like working and homeless.
What do you mean?
Like you were working a job and then just when you got off work, you just...
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. So it's like, it's true, but it's also like, it's complicated because I stayed at my mom's house for the first 2 weeks. So I was like on my mom's couch and then she was like, you got to go. And then I was couch surfing and I lived on a porch for a little bit. But yeah, it was about 4 months before I had like a room of my own. So yeah, I moved in with my friend Luke. And that's also like when I met Brittany. And like the 2 weeks thing I stay with Brittany isn't all the way true. It was more like a couple months. But like she definitely knew something was up. One of the first nights she stayed over. This is her fault for snooping. But I had this closet in my room at Luke's house. And she went in the closet. and she found this like paper bag like full of knives, like sketchy knives, like chicken, like kitchen knives, not a chicken knife. I'm still thinking about chickens.
The chicken broth.
It had like all these weird kitchen knives and these like really sketchy ones, and like she was in there and she's like, what is this? Why do you have all these knives in a bag? And, like, I don't remember, like when I moved in, I just grabbed a bunch of shit that I had and I put it in there, and I was like, I still have no idea where I don't know what those knives are from. I probably blacked out and stole them.
Yeah. It's like, I needed them for my tarp.
From a knife guy, yeah. But it was funny because like I was really into her, and so she's like, where'd you get this bag of knives? And I was trying to think of a good excuse to have like a giant paper bag full of knives, and I was like, I don't know, I've never seen those before. I just said the truth. So yeah, sketchy bag of knives.
So you wake up on like a stairs or in front of the Capitol.
Yeah, the Capitol Theater.
Capitol Theater.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was.
And then where'd you go from there? Did you go
so
to
this
treatment?
What happened.
Did you go to AA?
No, I didn't go to treatment. I did start going to meetings like 4 days after that. But like the weirdest thing. So like I peek out from under the tarp and I saw this lady walking her dog, and like I can't explain it. Like something like just snapped in my head, like in a way. And I've woken up in worse positions than that. Like I've blacked out and like gone to jail and not known what I did. Like been booked. I've been booked in jail for 3 hours and released without remembering any of it. Like because it's alcohol. I also was doing a lot of benzos and stuff like that. Like I did everything. But anyway, like this lady's walking her dog and she looked at me and I like something snapped, and I was just like, not like embarrassed, but just like I felt like I had just chosen like I had screwed up, and I was like, I remember like being a kid and like what I wanted my life to look like, and my dad had issues, you know, and he died when I was 12, and like something just snapped in my head, and I was looking down at my body, and I was like I can't do this anymore, and I was either gonna kill myself or like try recovery like one more time. And that day, what I did is I just decided not to kill myself, and I walked to my mom's house and I just cried the whole time, and I was just absolutely terrified. And when I think about it right now, it's still pretty scary, because sometimes I think it's like, man, how is this possible? But like I'm really stable in my recovery now, and like I don't have like cravings, like that's been removed. I still like want to fight people, but I don't.
I still gonna fight people.
I don't though.
But I have self-control. I have learned self-control.
Yeah, dude, I haven't put my hands on anybody in a long time. I got arrested in recovery, so right after I got sober too, I got a job as a bouncer, and like at the bar I used to work at, and that didn't work out. Yeah. I almost killed a guy. It was crazy. Yeah, this guy said he was going to stab me, and I shoved him, and he hit his head, and he was like in a coma.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you shouldn't tell bouncers you're going to stab them. You might get shoved in a coma.
Maybe that's where you got the bag of knives from.
I shouldn't joke about that, but that's pretty funny. No, I felt, and when his head hit the ground, I felt terrible. And then I went back to school to be a chemical dependency counselor.
Nice.
And I did that for a while, and then I started doing stand-up comedy, and then everything else was stupid.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's I was a controller. I have a CPA license. And
let's go.
So I went to school for that. But I sat at a desk and I freaking hated it. And then I got sober, and then I just...
You'd love it. I should show you my system here. So here's...
Is that your accounting?
Yeah, that's my thing. And some guy drew me a picture of Montana, which is really nice. Yeah. Perfect.
That's probably better than I am. Now that I have my own business, I don't feel like I'm like, they're not gonna probably audit me.
Dude, this is crazy, dude. What?
Business cards?
Yeah, from people in Chicago that I met like one time, and I don't even need any of their stuff.
I'm more like, just follow me on social. I don't want a business card. Like, just follow my shit. See if you like it. If we connect, you find all what you need to find out about me from there.
I met a guy in Chicago. I'm like hanging out with my friend. This guy's like, he goes, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and I sell Legal Shield, which is like this pyramid scheme insurance thing. And he was like, can I give you a card? I was like, yeah. It's still in there. Like 2 years ago. He's like a Jehovah's Witness that sells Legal Shield. I'm like, what if I need to reach out to that guy?
Okay, so sober. you hit that point. I had a similar point like that where it was just kind of like I hit this like it was just kind of this like I saw like the dreams that I had as a kid, and it was like I wanted to be this amazing mom, and I'm not being that at all.
That shit hurts, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think I told myself that it's like, man, like I'm like a free spirit, like, and I'm not hurting anybody. But man, like I hurt my mom and that shit. Because, like, this is also another big, like, truth bomb. I know you're like, let's be heavy. The only reason I didn't kill myself is I didn't want to hurt my mom.
Yeah.
And I used to think about how if my mom got in, like, a car wreck or something, and, like, I would have, and I mean this, there's no doubt in my mind, if my mom was gone, I would have immediately flung myself off of something high. Like, I was just like, then I'm done. Because that's it. Because my dad died when I was a kid. And it was just me and her. And, like, being present in my own life and being who I was. I hated who I was. I lied all the time. I made stuff up. I thought I was a terrible person. You know, and I did some terrible things. But it's like... And that's the thing. And then drugs like worked, and that was such a revelation. But then they turned on me. These motherfuckers. Oh, sorry, that's another one. I'm trying not to.
It's okay.
I just got off stage.
I just.
And I'm in an Econo Lodge, and this is how you talk. I'm not being weird. Gentry's being weird.
like old neighbors. Just creeping.
Yeah.
I used to do cocaine, and I would just like sit at windows and just
Must be nice.
just sit there.
Gentry's like, I did cocaine.
Well, I'm also a pretty white girl, so I didn't have to like pay for anything. I just,
Must be nice.
pretty white girl privilege.
Yeah.
I got
I had to
paid.
help make meth, okay? I was a meth prep cook. I actually got in trouble on Facebook for saying shit like that. Kind of stuff.
It is hard to talk about like jokes, because I think it's important to joke about recovery, because like it is real, but it's hard with social media. Like shit gets flagged.
I know, and it's a thing. Like I know we both live in this world, and like honestly, like last week when I had a video get taken down and I got in trouble on Facebook, and my Instagram's doing good, but my Facebook, and like that really hurts me, my business. And also it creates like this anxiety in me because I did get my account, my Facebook account got hacked one time, and it was just like, it was terrible. It was terrible. But yeah, it got worked out.
Yeah.
But that's only because I knew somebody, because Meta has AI moderators now, and they do not understand context, and you can't text me. You know what's funny is I have Meta AI on like my phone, and you can ask it questions. And I don't know why, but I think I was like feeling resentful today, and I was like, how many people got laid off at Meta because of artificial intelligence? And you know what's crazy? It answered me. It was like 17%. And it says, I was like, that's crazy that you answered that. He was like, I am trained to be neutral. And I'm like, yeah.
Everything AI drives me absolutely crazy, because I'm like, well, it's like, especially with our social medias, like if I have issues,
the moderation
I
is
talk
the
to
problem.
somebody.
Yeah, you gotta like, and it's a crock. It's a big crock of beans. I'm gonna be really clean now.
It's too late.
I know, but it's a big crock of beans. Because we're in this dance with a company that hates dancing. That's a duck that's on the lake out there. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I hope they heard it.
Got the lake
That
view.
duck's mad because that duck used its points to upgrade to a lake view, and it's now dealing with the same reality I am, that this is a Econo Lodge, and that's a wide ditch over there. Lake should not be perfectly square. That's a retention pond. That's what happens when the parking lot fills with water. I don't think they're gonna hear it. You're gonna have to mess with the audio.
I'll add a little duck.
Don't look, they're mating.
Oh my god.
Privacy.
See, I'm telling you guys, if you guys could see, like, if you could see what we see right now, we have the lights.
Yeah, they can see what I see. All you need is $109.
Wait, can this get a reflection of that? No.
It does actually. Yeah.
But we took this off so we could get some lighting. We got ring lights.
That's actually the best lighting.
It's so creepy.
No, I think we did great. I think we should celebrate
I feel like
this.
there's actually
We
in the
don't
background.
want these open.
No, I feel like the big yellow or
No.
whatever that is like a good. Like I can like put my logo.
Yeah,
on,
this is one of these places where people like to wear your skin.
Yeah, and I just met a stranger who's like 6'9", and like,
I'm 6'6", Gentry. That was super easy.
just this big dude. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll meet you. It's fine. Okay, we go to my hotel. Okay, cool. It's a
I did
motel.
send a nice message telling her that I'm married and not a
Yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah.
So, for the record.
Is it? I feel like too in recovery. Sometimes you trust other people in recovery, like
Yeah.
more than you would other people.
I am so proud that I have awesome boundaries, and I love my wife very much, and it means a lot to me, and she trusts me, and I honestly could not operate in a relationship without that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a human being. Like, that's something I've had to deal with, too, when I'm on the road, is, like, there is temptation out there, but I don't come close to drinking, and I don't come close to cheating on my wife, because I just love her a lot, and I love my kids, and I love my family, and I think having that issue, like, I know a lot of people deal with it, and I can't speak to anybody else's situation, but to me, it just seems like that would be an incredibly selfish thing for me to do. Mm-hmm. And what's selfish about it isn't on the back end when I sleep with somebody who's not her. It's on the front end when I can't communicate, like, what I need to get a relationship in a place where I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And me and my wife have excellent fucking communication. And she's a normie, like, she doesn't have any, like, addiction stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, she has her struggles, too, but we get through it together. And it's been... When I started doing comedy, it was really, really hard. But
how was she with that? With you starting to travel? I mean, it wasn't.
This is what I did, and it was bad, and it was scary, and it was a risk. And I'm glad that I made it out sober. I felt so bad because I was leaving and going and doing comedy for no money. And every single Wednesday night I would go for 4 hours, and then usually like a lot of times Friday and Saturday I'd be in Tacoma, Seattle, or Portland, Oregon, which is about anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours away. Burning gas. I'm still working full time. And what I would do is I would give her her time. And so I would take the kids on these adventures. Like, and I'm just that guy. So my kids were little. I'd be like, all right, let's go ride the ferry or whatever. I try to find things where like kind of cheap and fun with my kids to do and give her her time. But what I wasn't doing was working on my recovery. So like basically what I gave up was my recovery stuff because I was either doing comedy, working, or taking my kids on adventures and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she appreciated it, and I kept our marriage going, but also like unhealthy. And all it was also hard because me and her lost time of just like, it was always the thing where I was like, oh, I'm going to go drop the kids off at my mom's house and then I'll go do comedy and you can have your time. My mom will watch the kids. Mm-hmm. And like sometimes she would come with me or something, but what's happened now is like the ratio of like the amount that I get paid versus the time that I'm gone like makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
So like,
and you're doing it full time now, so it's
I
like
save a lot of money on hotel rooms. Even though I did upgrade.
I know, you're like, well, maybe we could find a conference room. And he's like, there's no conference room here.
You know what's funny is that I'll tell him, you can keep this room when I'm done and you can do all your podcasts here.
I actually kind of like this color isn't bad.
I know.
And we pulled over the nightstand.
I had him do this.
It's a perfect.
Yeah.
So I love, that's like fascinating with your relationship though, because I feel like that's like the trust, like you saw a vision for yourself.
Are you in a relationship?
Yes.
How long you guys been together?
A year.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's good.
It's going. He has 2 kids, I have 4, and we...
That's 6.
He can do math, you guys. Like, he's not just a comedian. He could also be the next accountant.
Yeah, thank you.
Next CPA. But I feel like in a partnership like that, like to have your dream and your like you see a vision for yourself, like did she see that for you? Like did she believe in you, or was it kind of like she's
the reason I started doing it full time. So like I had the idea and then my mom and my wife told me that I should go for it. and I did it, and it was terrifying. And then it worked out. There was times like my first tour, like I'm in like Colorado, and I was supposed to do Boise, Salt Lake City, Colorado, and I was going to do shows at these rehabs in Salt Lake City, but the Omicron hit, like new COVID hit, and they canceled the shows at the rehab, and those were like my anchor shows. So that was like $1,500 gone, and so now I'm in the red, and then at the last minute I got a show in Fort Collins, Colorado, because another headliner, a guy I really look up to and respect, Sam Talent. He's on Kill Tony. He's like super famous now. He's been on Joe Rogan. Great comic, great guy. Something happened with his mom, and he had to cancel the show, and I got to fill in for him, and I made enough money to like make a little bit of money, and I could make money locally because like I wasn't doing a lot of social media stuff then, but like word of mouth, like people were like, this guy's funny, and they would come see me, so I could go to places and make money, and I sold my shirts, selling shirts, and but yeah, I remember I drove back from Fort Collins 22 hours all the way back home, and I was so proud that I didn't lose money. I was in my 2012 Kia Soul. Yeah, it was wonderful. But yeah, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because comedy, I don't know what point you kind of like, yeah, I do my own thing now. Like, I don't know how that, because sometimes it's a gradual thing, because maybe you're already like working for commission or something, and like it kind of wanes off and that starts. But like, I remember like doing it. I remember telling my boss I worked at a homeless shelter in Tacoma. My boss knew it was coming. I talked about it all the time. He was like my best friend. He's still one of my favorite people in the world. I gotta call him actually. And I was like, dude, like I think I'm gonna go for it. And he's like, hell yeah, dude. Like everybody in my life. Because another thing too is I tried to apply to go back to college. I was gonna get my master's in social work, and I didn't get accepted. And it was crazy to me because I had done comedy at their conference. Like I was like a keynote speaker at their conference, but I didn't get into the school.
Because you weren't meant to.
Yeah, I know. That's the deal. Yeah. And then,
which is so, like, I just feel like that's, like, such, like, a alignment. I think, like, we spend so much time trying to do the things that we think we're supposed to do. Like, we're supposed to check the boxes of college. We're supposed to check the boxes of a stable job. But it's, like, maybe not.
I miss it sometimes. I miss, like, having some shit go sideways and not really, like, caring.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, I worked at the shelter, and there was, like, bathroom stuff that would go on, and like wonderful people, man. I got so much love for my like unhoused community, all my homies and like participants and weird, and it's like but I go into work and knowing like the stakes are high, but not as high as this, like, because I was obsessed even out the gate that I needed to make enough money. I wanted to make as much money as I was at a shelter. So basically at the shelter, I was probably making take home probably like $700-800 a week. Like not that much money, but like I was obsessed with that number and stand up. And that's like, and I'm talking about $800 a week, like $800 a week, like take home, like not like after expenses. And man, gas station eggs, like just packing lunches and stuff, like peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Selling those shirts, taking gigs, like I'd go do a Tuesday for $100 or somewhere, like in Federal Way, and then like, but then I'd sell like $200 worth of shirts or something, and it's like, this coming home, like, and then there was these moments like I'd start landing these corporate gigs, and like started making some like decent money, and actually right now, I started Missoula, Bozeman, Ellensburg, and then I go to Twin Falls, which is stupid because they're in the wrong spot. But I'm on a great run right now, like financially, emotionally, spiritually.
So my podcast is called Addicted to Quitting.
Yeah.
So where you're at in your life, what are a couple things that were outside of the drugs?
Yeah.
Like we know that one. But what were mindsets? What were behaviors in sobriety that you also quit that helped
I
you?
quit smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
That was hard. But I got those tea tree toothpicks that really helped me. Yeah. Also, when I quit smoking, me and my wife, we like quit smoking together. And I came home with a big freaking lip full of chew. And she was like, that's not it. Because I used to chew when I was in the Forest Service. Dude, looking an idiot hiking up a hill with a cigarette in your head. Some stuff that I quit. I quit not taking care of my health. Like, I went to the doctor. I have a lot of fear on doctors and dentists. And I took accountability for my health. I'm addressing I have like higher cholesterol. It's not crazy. But I did start taking a statin. I do cardio. Did cardio today. I still kind of stink. But it works for the Sakano Lodge. I feel like if I came in here smelling good, somebody would know something was up.
It wouldn't fit the vibe.
You come in here smelling good, you're going to get robbed. Yeah, that's some stuff. And there's some other stuff that like, I'm of the mind that you're probably on the same tip. I would imagine that like there's like we can always do better.
Yeah.
I just love that idea. I love it on stage. I love it off stage. You know, I'll go do this show in Twin Falls tomorrow. I'll drive 2 hours to Boise. I have a hotel room in Boise. I'll drive. I think it's probably 7 hours back from Boise back home. I'll get home. I'll be tired, but you know what? I'm gonna do the dishes. I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to help my mom. My mom has a bad knee right now. She broke her knee, but she's getting better. I'll probably take her to the grocery store the next day. I'll go drink coffee. I'll go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also I'm going to work on my social media and show promotion and try to make sure that I don't connect so much to it that I miss opportunities for like those real life connections, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the social media, I do think there are like we're literally in this room becoming friends right now, and that's dope. And it's because of social media. So there's like good stuff that comes out of it. Like I've had a really good time recording this podcast. It's been really nice. You made me cry twice.
I have.
It's not that hard.
I do think that like social media, but I love that you're saying that's kind of that separation. And I think like as people that are on social media, as people that post on social media, like we kind of tie our identity to it a little bit. And so like I stopped posting. My kids are on some of my stuff. They're in my stories a little bit, but I used to like have them be in reels with me and do things. And I kind of just, I don't, if I have one twin that likes it, he thinks it's fun and funny, but not all the time. If he asks, I let him, but I don't ever ask them anymore. I don't
My kids are like 11 and 13. They love going live. They think that's really funny, and people ask me questions and stuff. They get a kick out of that. They like going live, and sometimes they'll help me with videos. I like to do videos in places I'm not supposed to, like the grocery store.
Yeah.
They'll get in trouble.
Yeah, they do some fun stuff, but it's like this is my thing, and then like taking away moments with my kids because I want to record it.
Yeah.
Like, my kids
God,
are doing this, and I want to post.
Them do it again.
Yeah, I want to post about my being at my kids'
on that again?
Yeah.
Can you crash your Power Wheels into that ditch?
Like, so really setting a boundary between like their life and our life. Like it's. Yeah, like going when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. I don't need to post that. Look at me taking my kids to do these fun things. It's like finding that balance.
Yeah, I have moments like that. Not to. I like the rule of threes and not to get like emotional again, but it's gonna happen. The thing that I love about social media, my Facebook and my Instagram is, on average, I receive anywhere from like 2 to 5 or 6 messages a day from people that say that they like watch my videos and it helps them. And like I started doing comedy for like honestly like some pretty like selfish reasons. Like I love attention and like I love making people laugh, and the fact that like what I do and like these jokes that I tell and things that I post or whatever can help somebody find recovery. And like there was a guy, the best one I ever got was this guy, and he's like, hey, I'm from Alabama, I work concrete. Working concrete is hard. I always hate this shit, comedians, I was like, oh, comedy's hard. No, comedy's difficult. Working concrete in Alabama, like, that's hard. And he said he met his partner in recovery. They were sober together. She relapsed and she overdosed and died. And then now he's a single dad raising 2 girls working concrete in Alabama. And he said that my comedy helped him stay sober a couple times. And and he came and saw me when I went to Montgomery, Alabama. And I didn't know if I was going to ever make it to Alabama. But he came and saw me in Montgomery, Alabama. And we talked. And that shit was amazing. He's a really dope guy, too. Mm-hmm. People think a lot of things about the South. It's not as bad as people think. There's assholes everywhere. So, yeah, shit like that, that shit killed me.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like your gift. It's like that's the way, like you were probably doing God's work at the shelter or at where you were working before, but like you now can do it so much broader. Like you can reach so many more people using your gifts.
I remember wiping turds up and I felt God's light. I mean, no, I'm kidding. I'm being such a jerk right now.
No.
I understand. It's funny because you're talking about, this is the thing, like my spirituality is like kind of like personal and like not like private, but it's personal.
Yeah.
So like I say God sometimes I say universe. Like
yeah, I say universe a lot. It's
I'm
like,
agnostic, so like I don't know what's going on.
But like I feel like there's like everybody has like a purpose. Like there's something purpose driven, and everybody has like a gift that helps them in that purpose. No?
Yes and no.
Okay, what's your theory?
I like to think that most people are doing the best that they can, but that I think unfortunately we do live in a world where like they can be incredibly cruel and random, and that unfortunately I think that the cruel, the randomness, like I feel like it's kind of like a battle between like beauty, light, and cruel random, and sometimes the randomness can be wonderful too. But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like sometimes I hear people in recovery that are like, oh, like I'm one of the lucky ones, or like I'm here. Like a lot of people had to die for me to like, you know what I mean? To like, and I don't think that it's like that. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that there's a creative guiding intelligence that's like this person lives and this person dies.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's how that works. I do believe there might be something that understands us and loves us that we don't understand, and that but like I don't like the idea of like something like deciding like fate. I don't necessarily think that that's true, but you know what though, here's the thing, I've been wrong before.
No, I feel that. I don't think that like somebody's up there picking and choosing who's going to survive addiction and who's not. But I do think that everybody has the potential to unlock some sort of purpose.
Amen. And I don't disagree with you at all, because the part of me that's saying when I'm talking about this cool randomness that can happen and like, is, oh man, I have lost. Like, it feels like a mountain of like beautiful people that were very important to me that have died, and I feel like half of them have died in the last like fucking 3 years, you know, like with this fentanyl shit. It's so hard. Like I'm so tired of it, and like it's just sometimes I feel like, and I just can't, I can look at that and be that much more grateful for the people that I still have. And that is beautiful, you know, and I get that other part has to exist for that extra love to exist, but I don't think that one is equating to the other. I don't think it's like a thing. I don't think it's like math. I don't think it's like 1 + 1 = 2. Like I think it's way more complicated than that, and I like to think that those folks too, when people die and stuff like that, like just because like somebody dies from like fentanyl, it doesn't mean like they were bad or wrong or stupid or gross or like and also the same thing with people that are locked up. And I have friends of mine that have done horrendous stuff, and I've done some really bad stuff. I don't think like one terrible act, like if you're willing to take accountability, I think there should be a road back for people. Like obviously there's some stuff that I don't really like, I can't stand that shit. Like kids stuff and things like that, like forget that shit. Like you're kind of on your own at that point. But if you like, you know, some of the, I was locked up with some dudes that were like, there's some amazing people that have done really bad stuff. And, I don't know. But I get what you're saying, though. Like, I bet the truth, maybe it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. No, but I think that, like, your natural gift to be able to connect through comedy is your way to be able to, like, it feels like it's more than just comedy.
Well, we were talking about how I had that last 2 months of my, like, addiction, and, like, I was there when my dad died. I was 12 years old, and we were all circled around him, like, and when I was locked up, I saw a couple people get killed, and, like, I've just seen things, and I've been through things. I've been robbed, almost froze to death, overdosed a couple times, and that heinous stuff, the hand that I was dealt, made me the comedian that I am and the man that I am. And I'm proud. I'm proud, and I'm blessed, and I'm lucky. I'm all those things. I'm all that stuff. It's like, and sure, there could be some kind of guiding higher power. I definitely believe in higher power. I just don't know. And it's okay to not know, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you heard it here, guys. Become an alcoholic addict, and then you'll be funny.
I like how this whole podcast, I'm kind of like acting as if I'm like some hotshot comedian.
You are, though. What?
How about now? Come check out a sample. I know.
Like tilted so that I get light.
That's the ring light.
I was like, my ring light's in the car. That really could look like something.
I could even kick my feet up. Yeah, you should see our tripod. It's a bed.
This is so random. I love it, though. It's like perfect.
This is a thing. Is only in an Econo Lodge can you go from the emotional depths that we were at to me kicking my feet up on my tripod. I should set up my CPAP right now.
Oh my gosh.
You knew I had a CPAP.
As soon as you said that, I could see it. It was
I got one for my butt, too.
What is that? Wait, what?
It's a circle of life. I made that up. I'm so bold.
Like, Jesus. He's practicing some comedy right now because he has a big show coming up. If they don't land, let him know if those ones are good ones or not.
I don't. I had a lot of shit that didn't land tonight, but I did land a couple ones.
I love that you were trying. So I watched a thing about, like, what's his name? Not Friends. Jerry Seinfeld. Did you see that?
No, I did. I can't.
That is so funny. It was Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, Seinfeld. He was. So they were like.
I was trying to mess with you.
They was in New York. They didn't promote that he was going to be there.
Yeah.
He just showed up, and then they had let him come up and do some, and like they were not good jokes, and he was like practicing jokes.
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff that I practice. Actually, here, hand me my phone. I like doing this on podcasts sometimes. So I write jokes all day long, and most of them are not good. And I'll show you. Here's some not good jokes. Well, maybe this one good. Oh, I did that one tonight, and it worked. About how people ask me, they're like, "You drove a long way," and I was like, "I drove all the way from Bozeman." I'm like, "That's like 6 Crispitos." That's funny.
Yeah.
Even though hot case. Oh, jeez. Some of these are not going to be okay. Can't do that one. There's a character I'm working on that I think is really funny.
Okay.
Because, like, I wonder if there was ever, like, a woke prospector. And he's like, sometimes I wonder if this mining's good for Gaia. Like, he's like a prospector.
I don't get it.
He's like a prospector that cares about the environment. I was like...
What's a prospector?
Digs for gold and stuff. Like an old-timey prospector.
So I don't know what a prospector is, so that wasn't good. But maybe dudes would know that.
I'm never doing it again, Jim.
That one's 86.
No, I did I'm working on this other one, too, this is a true story. I was taking my kids on one of our adventures, right? And we're on I-5 and we're stuck in traffic. And, like, I had to pee really bad. And we're, like, in, like, Kent. And I'm like, if I get off the freeway, it's going to be, like, an hour. Like, it's going to cost me that much more. and the kids were in the back, and they were like reading. They were like distracted or whatever. I think they had like a little DVD player or something. And I tried to like pee in a bottle, but this is like a 2003 Kia Spectre. It's like the tiniest little car, and I'm like huge. And so like I'm in my Kia, I'm trying to pee in this bottle, right? And then I realized like the bottle is like filling up, like it's almost like full, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so like
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, like Dumb and Dumber. And here's the thing: so I gotta like pinch, I gotta pinch to shut off the flow. And I'm putting the cap back on the pee, and I'm reaching for another bottle, and I dropped the bottle, right? And I'm still in traffic, like driving. And at this point, the kids had realized, they're like, "Are you peeing in a bottle?" And I was like, I couldn't get off the freeway. They're like 3 and 6, so it's like this is hilarious to them, right? And so what happened is like I leaned down to get the bottle, and when I did that, I let go of my penis. I don't know why I couldn't say it. I'm fucking 42. I let go, and when I let go, I like peed on the steering wheel and like peed on my own face. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Thank you.
How are you gonna set it up as a joke? Or like just tell the story like that?
I'll figure it out.
I like
That's how it works. You know what's weird is like we were talking about that like stand-up comedy, and I know you do public speaking and motivational speaking and stuff, and it's like there's very similar things you can do, and comedy is just like rhythm, and I've figured out that rhythm and how to talk and like style, and then everything else after that, like I think I was probably, oh my god, it's so funny, I haven't thought about this in forever. So I was like 6 years in, and I was getting ready to go on stage, and I was like, I have my jokes, right? I'm like, I'm going to do this joke, this joke, this joke, this joke. And I was only doing 15 minutes. I was featuring for this guy named Mark Yaffe. He's a really funny, native comedian, real funny, works a lot of cruise ships. And I was like, man, I want to do this joke, but I can't do this joke, but I want to do this one. And like, I have this list of jokes, and I have to do them in that order, because like, it's like bop, bop, bop. And I remember I was like, I'm just going to go up there. Like, I was like, there's barely anybody here. Like, I'm just going to go up there and do the best I can. And, like, I know these jokes. Like, and I'll just do, and I just put the list in my pocket and, like, just told the jokes that I wanted to tell. And I've never looked back. Yeah. Like, when I'm getting ready to record, like, my first comedy special or whatever, like, that's different. Like, I'll do them, like, by the book. But, like, tonight, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I know there's 2 jokes that I'm gonna do because I love them right now and I want to do them. But, like, one of them's that pepperoni thing with my wife in the bathtub. Like, I really like that joke right now. And then the one where with the peanuts. I gotta do my peanuts joke. Everybody loves peanuts. My peanuts Mitt Romney joke. But yeah, you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
It's like,
there's and when I started podcasting, because my like goal is to do more motivational speaking and get out there, but I want it to be like funny too. I want to be entertaining, like mix in humor with it.
You're funny and you're likable and your style is like on point. Like, and I think people see that, and that's probably why you're having like the success that you're having. Like that stuff that's online, like people say like, oh, there's this trick and like whatever, and a lot of it like. There's no shortcuts. There's a lot of comedians that post a lot of reels, and they're like, I don't understand why my reels aren't doing anything. And it's like, because you've been doing comedy like 2 years, and they're not good jokes. Like, it's just not. Like, when it comes down to it, like, yeah, you can get lucky. And sometimes I'll post something, I'll be like, people aren't going to like this. But then those are the ones that, like, pop off. You know, so.
Well, and they're just, like, trusting the process. I think a lot of times people don't trust the process, and I'm guilty of that. I'll be like wanting to rush, and so like my mentor's always like, just trust the process. You got to get reps. Like that's why we started the podcast. It was like I'm just gonna get reps of talking, and I'll just.
I post stuff sometimes. Like I'll post a reel, and like I'll be like, dude, this is gold. Like this is probably like my best joke ever, and I'll be like, man, I'm so smart. And then people will be like, I like your other stuff. Talk about bathtubs.
I know. People always say, dance on your table.
That's a good idea.
You should dance on your table. I should dance on this table.
You don't want to know.
That's the kid hold me. It was fine. Maybe I should do a reel.
I don't want you to break this table. If I have to pay any more for this room.
Okay, I won't dance on the TV.
Thank you. Jesus, this is one of the nicer rooms here.
This has a lake view.
Yeah.
We mentioned the lake view. Okay, so, sober. So sober, happy, living.
Mostly happy. I'm careful with that word.
Okay.
I am 51% happy, and that's really good.
Better than your majority rule.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as your majority rule.
That's a thing I had to realize in recovery too. Is that like it's okay just to be okay? You don't have to be.
Yes.
You don't gotta be like wacky. Like even right now, like that dopamine is starting to be like, like it's fading a little bit, and that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
It takes me time to do that too. Like I feel like I've gotten so much better at it, but it's like I did like full steam ahead, doing things a million miles an hour, always being like super high energy, and then I'd like crash.
Yeah,
because you can't stay like that.
Yeah, and you pay a cost on both ends, on the front end and on the back end with that, because you wind up while you're way up, you wind up agreeing to do things.
Yeah,
and then the
like
next
overly
day
optimistic.
Like, I'm doing what for Jack? Like, that guy's weird. I'm recording a podcast with the Econo Lodge.
Recording a podcast. Well, I think that's like that's maybe some good quitting advice of like quit trying to like.
That's people's issues, man. When people don't follow through, man, it's like people screw it up on the front end.
Yeah.
Like, don't say, "Oh God," like it feels so good.
I feel like if you can like be okay with this, like just kind of like this, like.
Yeah.
Because like if you're like I'll do everything, and then I had that at the beginning of like overcommitting to people and then totally forgetting about them.
Do you find that you have people in your life that tell you stuff that they just know you want to hear? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can't like that.
Well, yeah, people stop trusting you. Like
yeah, people tell me stuff all the time. Like, and it's weird because like there's no malice. It's not malice. It's just ignorance. Because I think people have ideas about stand-up comedy and like where my career is. One of my favorite ones, and I know because you're further along than I am with the social media stuff, but like I get this thing where I like get these messages, right? They'd be like, I don't know if Sam's gonna see this, but if you see Sam, will you tell him that I really wish he would come to Michigan? And I'm like, I'll be like on my toilet in the morning. I'll be like, I'll let him know.
Like pretend like you're his team.
No, I don't. I tell him, I see all my messages. Sometimes I'll send, not when I'm on the toilet, but I like send it. Sometimes I'll surprise people and like I'll have like big fans and I'll send them like a video message and they.
Yeah, I send a lot of voice memos and stuff just because like one, the personal personal.
People like it.
Yeah, like people like it, and two, it's easier than me typing things out. Like people ask me.
If I have a recovery one
about.
I wish I did. No, I don't have any good ones. I had a guy message me. He was like, he got a brain tumor removed, and he was like, I really liked your show. And I was like, dude, it's cool. I'm glad you got that tumor out.
Can I make a joke about this?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I love all of this. It's like, I think comedy is. I mean, I try to bring a lot of humor to my page too around addiction because I think that like it's healing.
It's hilarious too. It's really funny, and also it's really relatable even to people that don't do drugs because everybody knows people.
Well, everybody's battling something.
It's really humanizing. Yeah, you heard there was a comedian tonight who told a mean joke about homeless people, and I remember I did a show one time, and like I can get kind of defensive and kind of in my feelings sometimes, and I'm a lot better at it than I used to be. But I remember there was a comedian one time, and he said a really mean joke about homeless people this or homeless people that. And what I did is I went up after him, and I did like 10 minutes on being homeless, and just like annihilated. Like I did so much better than he did. And I remember getting off stage and being like, that's what you get. Jerk. Like that's tonight. Like I did that joke about flying a sign or whatever, you know, like panhandling and stuff, and then people give me advice and like Hondas and shit. I'm like, that ain't it. I used to have a joke about guys. A true story. A guy gave me like 100. That happened a few times where people would give me like $100 bills, and I'm like, I think this dude likes me, or he's trying to kill me. I was like, I'm gonna get so fucked up.
So, I appreciate you
I appreciate
answering
you.
my DMs.
This was wonderful.
And being on the podcast. I think what made me find you is you made a joke about being in the Yakima jail. Being now that you're sober, I think that was like one of the reels that I found. I was like, yep, I need to connect with him.
Because you live close to there. You say you live in Sheila?
I live in the Yakima area, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to drive through there tomorrow. I like the Yakima area. You know what's funny is that Yakima is one of those places where it has like such immense natural beauty. Like it's such a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. But it is a place that's like fairly rough. And I think a lot of that is like the seasonal cycle and like the population going way up and way down. Mm-hmm. And there is, man. I think people need to remember that we have a lot more similarities and differences, and like people need to chill out a little bit, man.
Yeah.
I can't handle like the some of the ignorance, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I am too.
We're gonna go eat.
Should we go eat?
Then we're gonna go to a truck stop and get gas station eggs.
Wait, what?
You know what I do? They have these cups at the Loves. They have 4 eggs, 4 hard-boiled eggs. I get some hot sauce and then I shake them up.
And it makes them frothy.
Yeah, I'll tell you one
or what's
story.
that? What was that? The eggs. What were they called?
They were foam eggs.
Foam
Yeah,
eggs.
they were like, it's egg foam. And I was like, what do they do? Shake them chickens? And then I did that impression of a rooster getting shaken. I was like, cock-a-doodle-doo. And I was like, wait, roosters don't lay. Why are they shaking the roosters?
I've never heard of that though. I'm like, all
And then
these
I said
fancy
the
drinks.
latte. I said the lattes. They said they get the foam milk.
Yeah.
And it's like they shake the cows.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. That's why I do that.
But any final tips to somebody thinking about sobriety, struggling in addiction, or even in recovery? Like, hey, I'm in recovery, and this is like something that really I stuck to and helped.
The easiest way that I like to put it is like try to do the best you can to find ways that love yourself and find things that are healthy for you that are hard to do them, and then celebrate that. Like any healthy decision that you can make that you're scared of, that you will get results you don't expect. And that's the thing, is like, and also that when you do feel bad, that like no feelings are like permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing about like depression and mental health and addiction, is like it's not just that you get sad, but when you're sad it feels like you're never going to be happy again. And I lived a long time in my life, and it's like hopelessness squared, but I couldn't have been like more wrong. That there is a way to like have a life that's awesome, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky enough to be living one of those lives right now. Like I really like my life, even though I cry when I do podcasts all the time. That's 5 times.
I never got a full tear.
You're not supposed to cry in this Econo Lodge. You're supposed to do heroin.
We're not doing heroin. I am so glad that we've connected and got to do this podcast.
Yes,
and
it was really fun. You're an
we'll
absolute
continue
fucking
to
sweetheart, wonderful
cheer you
person.
on.
Just
And
went really well.
where can people find you?
At the Econo Lodge in Ellensburg. No, you can find me Sam Miller Comedian on Instagram, Sam Miller Comedy on Facebook, SamMillerComedy.com, Sam Miller Comedian on TikTok.
Do you sell your shirts online too? Or only
Yeah,
live?
but don't. I only do that when I need money.
He doesn't need money, so just come to a live
No,
show.
I need money. I just sell hella shirts after shows.
Just come to a live
That's what I
show,
do.
get a shirt. I got a shirt tonight.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay.
I'm looking at your internet's like tripping out. Like it's like trying to upload it, but it can't. It's gonna take
It's
a
the
while.
no wait no, it's the
It's all right. It's
internet.
fine.
That's the volume.
No, up at the top, it's like trying to upload it, but it can't because it's like. Anyway, this has been a good podcast.
Great podcast. Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
Keep quitting the things that don't serve you, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.